On April 1st, 2021, I ditched a career I absolutely hated to better myself and do the things I've always wanted to do. And that included my growing love and obsession with Ireland. I want to learn everything: culture, history, mythology, music, and the language. Which, if I'm being honest, looks really hard to learn, but I'm going to give it the old Smith try. Then, of course, there is my love of pubs and the role that they've played throughout history, and no better example of that than on that beautiful, beleaguered island in the North Atlantic, Ireland. April 1st, 2026, I depart for the Emerald Isle, and for 1 year, I'll hike town by town and conduct interviews with pub owners, pub regulars, historians, town know-it-alls, musicians, and basically anybody that wants to talk to me. If you'd like to support the project and the journey, basic Patreon support is only $3 a month, but just liking a video or subscribing to the channel and following the journey is just as helpful. I'm always looking for volunteers to work as liaisons for the project too, so if you live in Ireland and know people, feel free to hit me up. This is a huge goal and I need all the help I can get. The Smitty Learns Irish Pubcast begins April 26th and will be my life's work. Thank you. Let's get to this 1968 performance from the Yardbirds featuring Jimmy Page. I think he was only in the Yardbirds for a brief amount of time. Who were in the Yardbirds? Clapton, Beck, Jeff Beck, and then Jimmy Page. I don't even know if I know anybody else in that band. And I don't think Train Kept a Rollin' is the original. I think it's originally a blues track. I've heard the Yardbirds, and I'm pretty sure I've heard their version of this. I've heard it many different times for many different artists. But I've never seen the Yardbirds live, and I thought it would be cool to check out. So let's do that. Black and White.
La semaine prochaine. Et sur le plateau, en direct de Bouton Rouge, eh bien oui, les Yardbirds sont là. Les Yardbirds, c'est toujours à la batterie Jim McCarthy, merci pour le petit sous-roulement de batterie, c'est très chic. À la guitare, Jim Page, Chris Trinja et le chanteur Keith Brown.
Is there any song about a train that doesn't use a harmonica to narrate the train? I think every single rock song about a train has a harmonica in it. Train. Maybe not AC/DC's Rock and Roll Train, but hey, there might be a harmonica in there somewhere. You know why I love watching old shit like this? I love fucking rock and roll in all of its forms, but especially the 60s, probably more than any other era, because that's when rock and roll just became the most beautiful, fucking awesome art form in music history fucking ever. I'm a firm believer in this. And this is the only reason I want time machines, is that I can go back and sit in this fucking crowd. Because whenever, again, either I listen or watch something like this, I put myself in the mindset of listening to it historically. You know, or if I was sitting in this crowd, hearing the Yardbirds for the first time, and you're not used to rock and roll, maybe, and then that shit hits you, and you're like, oh, this is fucking different.
Shoot.
And
The train kept rolling, the Yardbirds pour la...
Honestly, and that hits just as hard as any fucking rock music still to this day. Yeah, it's an old sounding recording. Yeah, it's at the start, but like, especially if you're listening to it or watching it in a historical context, you objectively, that shit rocks just as hard as anything now. You know what I mean? And it really, I've had debates with friends on when, like, the era's changed from the oldies, which I have a huge oldies playlist, and it goes everything from the birth of rock and roll, Motown, doo-wop, all that shit, into probably this era. Cream, Yardbirds with Jimmy Page right as Led Zeppelin started. That's where the fucking oldies started, and classic, or the oldies ended, and classic rock started. You know? Even though I hate labels. The Yardbirds. All right, what's next? What the hell? Everything!